And so I wanna hear what's the Lord doing in Nathan Griffith's heart. You've made some life changes. You've shifted directions. You're launching projects that have been on your heart for at least a year and beyond.
Right.
And what is the Lord speaking in this season to you? What are you learning? I know you had a tender heart over Easter weekend.
Dude, yeah. I think where I'm at right now in my life is just, I think I understand how, more so than I ever have, how weak I am without the Lord. I think there's been different times in my life where I've always had a bend towards pride. I've always been super self-confident, confident in just my abilities to do things. It's come from parents telling me I'm awesome my whole life, which is good. You know what I mean?
You have great parents.
I have great parents, and I've had a great upbringing, very confident in myself all growing up. And I was good at most of the things that I did. That's been so interesting coming to Kansas City, though, because the Lord began to take me on a journey where not putting me in leadership positions, number one. So I'm like under people who maybe I felt like I was more capable of leading than, right? So it started taking me on a journey of humility. And then number two, starting to put on my heart things that to do different things that I'm not necessarily very good at.
Yeah.
One of the major things was worship leading. A couple months after I moved to Kansas City in the fall of 2017, my heart for worship starts growing a lot.
Yeah, and if you had told me when we were at Link Year together that Nathan Griffith would do anything with worship, I would have laughed in your face and said you were a fool. Have you heard this guy? He can't play an instrument.
No, that's exactly right, because I've always been the athletic guy growing up. I played football, wrestled, baseball, track, all that stuff, and had no desire to do any instruments. My mom, my grandpa always would try to get me to do piano lessons. I was like, I ain't no sissy boy.
You're like, piano? Why would I play piano when I've got a football out there?
Exactly. And what I realized, once I got done with high school, football was like over.
Yeah, it is tough that we threw our lot into the sport that nobody really plays.
Unless,
high school.
it's like you can play, I guess, flag football on Thanksgiving or whatever.
Yeah, but there's no pickup football really. You have to really work for that. Most people play pickup basketball still.
Oh yeah, you play pickup basketball
leagues
late into your life. Like, you gotta stay in shape, and it's a lot of work to play football.
Yeah,
even on a pickup game.
Exactly.
But anyways, I came to IHOP, and the Lord started emphasizing, like, giving me a heart for worship. Like I said, I never even picked up an instrument. Well, next thing I know, a friend of mine gives me a guitar in the fall of 2017, and I just began to learn. The next semester, I moved in. I was roommates with a couple of music teachers from Brazil, and they just kind of taught me a couple things.
Gotta love Brazil.
Dude, if you're listening to this, Simon or Lucas, dude, I love you guys and miss you so much. I got to live with these two guys for 6 months.
Yeah.
And they got me off the ground. They helped me learn how to play, like, one song.
Which was what?
It's called You're Beautiful / Worth It All by Missy. I don't know if it's by Missy Edwards. It might be, but I've only ever heard Jonas Park play it.
Yeah. That's all you had in your arsenal.
That's all I had in my arsenal for the beginning. Next thing I knew, I went on a month-long mission trip to Moscow, Russia during the summer of 2018, where while we're there fighting human trafficking, doing some really intense stuff, we also helped keep up the Moscow House of Prayer. And they don't do 24/7 over there, but while we were there, we made it 24/7.
Really?
Yes. And so, but part of the deal was anyone who could play an instrument or at all had to do a set.
I could play the bongalos.
I could have used you over there. Dude, we would have been a great combination. And so I get over there. Next thing I know, I'm doing a 2-hour set every single day.
You got put in the fire.
I got put right into the fire.
Baptism by fire, brother.
I had never played in public before. And next thing I know, I'm playing every day for 2 hours.
You had one song in your arsenal, and then it's like, well, you really have to force yourself to learn.
Dude, you don't understand how bad it was. If you know anything about music, there's like timing to it. And there's like, oh my God, I didn't understand like anything about music. So I would just kind of play however I thought it would sound, and I would hold stuff out way longer than it was supposed to be held out. I would do stuff too short.
And your friend Sweet Catherine would just...
My friend Catherine Clark.
Cringe.
Oh my God, she was there too, and she helped me out a little bit. But next thing I know...
I should say our friend, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
our
you
friend
should.
Catherine.
100%.
Don't you forget.
That was like the beginning of me getting thrown into the fire, where I got taken on a journey of learning how to play the guitar, learning worship. Fast forward 3 years, I've written like 10 songs. I've led worship in like 5 houses of prayer. I'm an associate worship leader for a worship team at a smaller house of prayer here in Kansas City called Hope City Prayer Room. Mm-hmm. Lead worship every single week. I will go led worship at multiple churches.
Tomorrow morning, in fact.
Tomorrow morning, I'll have my set, Thursdays from 10 a.m. to noon. And I'm not saying like I'm the next Jeremy Riddle, Jonas Park, whatever it is, but I'm a worship leader. Yeah. And I have a worship team, and that's one of the main things that I do here in Kansas City, even. But dude, it's been a humbling journey of humility getting to the point that I'm at. I mean, it's still humbling because, there's so many amazing singers and musicians here at IHOP. It's just it's a singers and musicians hub. This place just produces worshipers. Mm-hmm. And people come from all over the world and are just so gifted, so talented. I've never been the guy who I'm not naturally gifted or talented in those things, mm-hmm. in worship. I'm not. And so I've tried really hard and worked at it to get to where I'm at now. But that's just one example of something that the Lord has had me operate in, where I need him.
Yeah.
I'm so reliant on him.
So dependent.
And yeah, I am better than I used to be, but I still need him. And I ask almost every time I lead worship, right before I start, I pray, I go, Jesus, would you help me to sing and to play better than I ever have? And
wow. I play my best for...
Yes. No, dude, I mean, it's so real.
Is that Jonas? Is that a Jonas song?
I think, yeah, Jonas or Laura.
Yeah.
Little spin off the Little Drummer Boy song. Mm-hmm. But, man, I think Jesus delights in us operating in things that we really need him in.
Yeah.
And golly, the humility that it produces. I mean, I can give you 5 other things where I'm on a stage where people are watching me do different things that I need him for. Mm-hmm. And I think at some point he loves to combine the gifts and talents that he's put in you with the calling, right? With what he has for you. But I think sometimes he will emphasize maybe not what you're most gifted in for a season to produce that humility. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's a lifelong thing because he loves reliance. We were talking about that the other night.
Yeah, the phrase that comes from 2 Corinthians 12:9. Mm-hmm. If dependence on the Lord is the goal, then weakness is our advantage.
Mm-hmm. Because in our weakness, his power is made perfect in our weakness, right?
Yes.
Dude, it's beautiful.